Welcome to Trust Talks with BBB Serving CT. I'm Kristen Johnson. In business, trust talks, and Better Business Bureau's mission is to enhance marketplace trust. In each episode of our program, we hope to give you a better idea of what to look for, what to look out for, and what to expect so you can spend your money wisely and avoid being scammed. And scams are the topic of discussion today. Better Business Bureau's 2023 Scam Tracker Risk Report is out. And it details the top scams that people right here in Connecticut and across the country lost money to last year. So let's take a look. For the first time in 4 years, online shopping scams are not considered the riskiest scam according to the Scam Tracker report, but they are still the most common. When we look at these scams, we're not just looking at what scams target people the most, but how likely they are to lose money to the scam, and when they do, just how much money they lose. So the riskiest scam in 2023, according to BBB Scam Tracker, is the investment scam. Joining us today are Sal Pugliaris of East Hartford, who lost $9,000 to a cryptocurrency scam. And we also have Michelle Bordeaux. She's BBB Serving CT's Education Foundation Director. She's going to explain a little bit about why these types of scams are so risky and also tell us what we need to do to avoid them and about some of the other scams that top the list this year. But I want to start with Sal. Sal, first of all, thank you so much for being with us, for being willing to tell your story and warn others. Let's start from the beginning. Tell us what happened.
So it all started with like a wrong number text. You know, I get these all the time now, so I'm aware of it now. But it was like, hey, like are we still doing something tomorrow? So like something within those lines. I don't remember the exact text, but you know, I just told them like, hey, I think you have the wrong number, and I was like, oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Oh, my name is Maria, by the way. And then we just started talking like casually, and you know, didn't bring up anything about money right away. You know, it was just kind of like casual talk. And that wasn't until, you know, about a week into like after I met her, you know, she starts like telling me, oh, I do like crypto trading, you know, and kind of told me a little bit about it and like how she makes big profits. And, you know, she's like, oh, I could kind of teach you how to do it too. And it all sounded interesting, and I seen pictures of the profits that she was making, and it looked legit. She gave me the website for the platform, and it looked like a legit website. You know, it had like different stocks like Bitcoin, Ethereum. You know, like live updates of the stocks, like kind of like Robinhood. You know, so it looked legit, and you know, I started off small with 100, and I saw the profits right away. I'm like, wow, like this is cool. Like this girl knows what she's talking about, and you know, but little did I know, like usually it's a fake person, and I don't think I was even talking to a girl. It's usually like a country. It's like different people in like different countries, like running organizations. Like I found out about it later.
And she told you she lived in Ukraine, right?
She told me she was from Ukraine and lived in Los Angeles.
Okay.
And she was like a restaurant, like a owner of a restaurant, you know. So she just made up like a little identity. Her name was Maria Emily. She told me from Los Angeles. She was 36, and she ran a restaurant in LA.
Did it feel a little bit like a romance scam too? Because this sounds a lot like the romance scams we hear of.
It did, you know, like it did, like, and I'll be honest, you know, I was more interested in the profits. Like I'll be honest, you know, like yeah, we would like casually talk, but I was more in it for like the profits and learning the trades, but she was like, you know, say flirty things to me a lot, and you know, that's how they get you, you know. It's like they want to get your trust, and yeah.
You provided some screenshots for us that kind of show how legitimate she really made this seem. And so she asked you, you know, how much money you wanted to start with, but you kind of tried to take a pause at that point because something didn't feel right.
Yeah, because you know, It was she kind of told me a little bit about short-term crypto investments, and yeah, I asked, it seemed kind of interesting, but then it was like kind of right away she was like asking me like, oh, so how much do you want to start off with? And I just told her like, hey, like I don't know if I want to do it right away, and I feel like she was trying to like kind of pressure me, and I felt a little skeptical about it, and but she kept showing me like screenshots of her profits, and it's like, oh, like trust me, you're gonna make good money if you just like do what I say, like, so really, I said like kind of pressured me a little bit.
And eventually you gave in to that pressure.
Yeah, eventually, I started off small. I'm like, all right, like let me just start off with $100. If I lose this, what's $100? And what got me was, and a lot of these scams work is, we did a few trades, and I made, with the $100, I think I made about $30 profit, and I was able to withdraw that money into my bank account, and that's when I was like, oh, this is legit. Like I put the $30 profit into my bank account, and that's what they do. Like they let you get like a small amount, and making you that's the kind of suckers you win. Like, oh, this isn't a scam. This is like, I see the money in my account. It's 30. I just made $30. So then she started to convince me like, oh, like if you put more, like your profits are gonna be like bigger. So from there, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna do $1,000 now. And she's like, because she told me like, oh, if you put 1,000, your profits are gonna be 10 times more than that. You could have made 300. So like, a few days later, I put $1,000 into this platform, and when you look at the platform, it shows you your how much money you have, like your account balance, and your profits. So it looks legit, but really, like as soon as you put the money into the platform, you're sending money away to the scammer, and that's something I wasn't aware of.
She claimed to have insider information too, right?
Yeah. So she told me like her uncle was a owner of some stock exchange. Like he's a really higher up. Like he had like 30 years experience, and he would tell her the like the inside information of like the trades that we were doing, and she was just telling me like that that he knew stuff that like other people didn't know. She was really persuasive.
And to make it even more legitimate, besides, the pictures of the profits she was making, you actually video chatted with her a few times. So it was like you actually were talking to her, which doesn't always happen in these scams. Usually they're kind of in the shadows, but you saw her on your phone.
Yeah, that's what got me too. Like we at first I'm like, I don't know if this is even a real person, but once we video chatted, and I saw her, that's what kind of convinced me too. Like, oh, this person's legit, and because we were FaceTiming each other like at least like about 3 times or so, and that got me convinced that, all right, this is a real person. So yeah, but I learned too that a lot of these organizations, they have like decoys. Like they might hire like a few girls, like just to kind of like it's part of the act pretty much. Like it's part of the scam. Like they'll hire like some girls to play along with it, and that way you can you can believe the scam is real.
And
So.
you had said that they were very short conversations. So they ended abruptly.
Yeah, with the video chats, it did. Like every time we video chat, it was only for like a few minutes, and as soon as like we stopped, she would like text me like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm just a little shy. Yeah, like my English isn't the best. I'm a little I'm a little embarrassed with my English. Like she would say something like that. So it's and I learned too. I don't know if this is the case with me, but sometimes like they'll have like a pre-recording of like a FaceTime video. Like I'm not sure if that was the case with me or not, but sometimes they do that, and but
It was enough to convince you.
It was enough to convince me, yeah, unfortunately.
And into about a month in, then she offered to teach you how to do some other trades, some more expensive trades.
Yeah. Yeah, so up until this point I had 1,100 in my account. So because first it was $100 and then it was $1,000. With that 1,100, my account about a week after we got it up to 2,000. I'm like, oh wow, I'm up $1,000 at this point. And she told me, yeah, like if you have $10,000 in your account, you'll be able to make like these different kind of trades, like that will give you even more profit. Like she's like, yeah, get your account to 10,000 soon. There's big trades coming up in the next couple of weeks. Like I need you to get it up to 10,000 so I can help you. Like make more profits. And I thought about it, and she was every day she was kind of convincing me, like, hey, do you want to make money or not? Like I can. You're gonna make a lot of money. Trust me. Like I'm not gonna disappoint you. She would FaceTime me a little bit, and then I kind of convinced me, So I ended up selling the Bitcoin and Ethereum shares that I had on my Robinhood account. It was a little over 7,000, and I put 8,000 more into my account, so to make it 10,000. And from there, we did more trades together. So at this point, when I put the 8,000 in, that was 9,100. That I just sent to the scammer thinking that I put it into this platform.
And so what happened next? How did you finally come to realize this was a scam?
So we did a few trades when I had the 10,000 supposedly in this account, and after another week or so, we did a few trades together, and I got it up to like over 100,000 in my account, and I'm like, wow, I don't know. At first, I'm like, I don't know if this is legit until I see it in my bank account, because I'm like, this looks pretty good, I was a little excited, but I was like, I don't know, until that money's in my hands, I don't know, and basically, after.
Did you tell anybody at that point? Like, I just made $100,000.
No, I didn't.
Days.
That's the thing. I didn't even, I wanted to, but I don't know, I just didn't. And then she was even telling me too, don't tell your friends because they're gonna be jealous of you. Don't tell your family. My family a lot of my family turned on me when they saw I was making money. So I kind of this was all in a few days. I was eventually I probably would have told them my family if it was true, but I kind of just kept it to myself for a few days. All right, until this money gets in my account, I'm not gonna say nothing. And so my account is over 100,000 at this point. And she told me that, yeah, you're gonna have to pay taxes on the profits. She kind of explained to me yeah, I always keep money in my account so I can pay these taxes, and as soon as you pay the taxes, the profits will go in your bank account, So and one morning I get a fake email, and it was saying how I owed 10,400, I believe $419, to I owe these taxes because of the profits. And I had to pay it within 3 days, or else I was gonna have to owe interest. The interest was 1% every day you're late. So she was really on me, oh, make sure you pay those taxes by this Thursday night. I don't remember the exact day, but it was yeah, by this Thursday night, make sure you take care of that. And I told her, wow, so I gotta pay these taxes before I get this money. I thought you get the money, then you gotta pay the taxes. And she explained, no, you gotta pay the taxes first before you get the money in your account, which is, that's something that a lot of these scammers do. It's yeah, you're gonna get all this money, but you gotta pay 10 or 20% taxes on the profits first.
Yeah, it's a
Doesn't
hallmark of these scams.
Yeah, which doesn't make a lot of sense, like because realistically, like you pay taxes at the end of the year, or like that's what kind of threw me off.
Did you go into panic mode?
Yeah, I did. I went into panic mode, and I didn't want to tell anybody. I didn't want to tell anybody like, oh, I got to come up with this money. But really, at the time, I had about 10 grand in my savings, and the balance I had to pay was like 10,004 or something. So I was like, yeah, like I'm a little, I don't even know if I have enough. Like, and I was telling her, and she was like, oh, just do what you can. I'll try to help you. Whatever you can't do, I'll pay the difference. So I'm like, I'll like kind of like, all right, at least she's trying to help me. But I just thought I was so skeptical how I had to like drain my bank account in order to pay these taxes.
But you did it?
So
You wiped out your bank account?
I almost did. And to this day, I'm thankful I didn't. But basically, I had $2,000 in one bank account, and I used that for a tax payment, which the bank surprisingly like reimbursed me, and I'll get to that later. But so I paid a $2,000 payment with M&T Bank, and I still owed another like 8,400 something. So I put a money order in from my bank account, which was almost all my money. I had just like a few more hundred left. And I put a wire transfer, and luckily for Wells Fargo, when you put a wire transfer, it takes a day to process. So I put the wire transfer and I sent it, I remember it was like at nighttime. It was probably like a Wednesday night, and then she was just like, oh, okay, great. So you should once that processes, you'll get your withdrawal money. And I just felt so like, I don't know, like damn, I just emptied my bank accounts. Like what do I do? And I did something that I should have done from the start. I just Googled this platform, read some reviews. I'm trying to look for something, and all of a sudden I found these articles on Reddit, and my heart just sunk because it was like the same platform that I was on, but they changed the words a little bit. I think um it was like they changed like a few letters around, but I could tell it was like the same, like supposed to be the same platform that I was in. And in this article with Reddit, she went by the name Maria, and it was a different last name, but with me, she said her name was Maria Emily, but it was the exact same scenario, exact same. Oh, like start off small. She has an uncle with inside information. She's from LA, and I'm just like, wow. Like, and then in the article, it's like, oh yeah, I got scammed big time. I couldn't get my money back, and I just from there, I realized like I got scammed, and I like I remember the next day I screenshotted the article that I found, and I sent it to her. And then she was just like, oh, do you think this is me? Oh, this is not even like the same platform. Oh, and then I'm like, no, this is I'm like, no, you just stole my money. I'm like, I was trying to get my money back, and she was like, no, just pay your taxes, and you're gonna get the profits. Just trust me, But that same night when I found out it was a scam, I called my bank, and I told them, and then I canceled my the wire transfer, which was 8,500, I believe. So if I didn't have to wait a day for it to process the wire transfer, I would have lost 8,500 more. So I'm thankful I didn't I'm thankful like that they were able to cancel that wire transfer. And the $2,000 payment from M&T Bank, they reimbursed me with that, which they told me they weren't gonna be able to, but somehow like it took like about 6 weeks, and they ended up giving that back to me, which was surprising. And I tried to get the other money that I lost too, but they wouldn't give it to me. I tried so many times. I went in, I talked to corporate, and they just told me the same thing. Like, yeah, you like it was your decision to send this money. You made the wire transfers, so like they couldn't give that back to me, and I kept trying, and I kind of just gave up, you know. So I just had to take my loss, which was 9,100 altogether.
That's a lot of money. It's not something that you can recoup overnight, that's for sure.
Yeah, it definitely affected me for a while, you know. Like it's it's not like, you know, $20. It's 9,000, you know. So it's
a lot. I want to bring Michelle in. Michelle, more than 80% of people targeted by this scam, the investment scam, lost money last year, averaging $3,800. What makes investment scams so risky?
Yeah. First, I just want to say, Sal, I'm so sorry that this happened to you. And I really commend you for coming forward and sharing your story today. It's really important to share that with everyone.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. But yeah, so as we've heard, I mean, investment scams are very risky because of the amount of potential losses that can be made by it. Yes, the average is $3,800, but in this case, it was $9,000. And so there's a lot of risk, you know, financially that comes with investment scams. And because of that potential risk, you know, when victims are in these situations, a lot of times, as we also heard, you know, sometimes denial sets in, and the victim, oftentimes it leads them to continue putting money into it so that they can possibly dig themselves out of the hole that they've gotten into. It's sort of like that rabbit hole. And then, of course, technology is so savvy these days. The websites that these scammers and fraudsters are making are professionally made. They have the live tickers that are showing us, you know, here's your rate of return, here's what you're making. So it really is hard sometimes to decipher if it's a real site or not.
So knowing that, can you share some tips to avoid an investment scam?
Yeah, I think one of the big ones is, you know, anytime you're promised guaranteed returns, you should be leery. You know, as we know, investing in general, there are no guarantees to what our returns are going to be. And so if it seems too good to be true, it most likely is. And then those high pressure tactics, the scare tactics, you know, scammers, you know, they want you to act fast so that you don't have time to think about your decision. And so they are going to say to you, you need to act now, because if you don't act now, this rate of return isn't going to be available to you. We need you to act now. And you feel pressured to do it. And also doing your research. You know, before you invest, you know, you want to make sure, especially if you were approached, you know, what is the business name, the group, take a look at it to see if it is legitimate or not.
And Sal talked about the fact that this started as a wrong number scam. A lot of scams are perpetrated that way, aren't they? These fake text messages.
Absolutely. So in general, when you are reached out via text, you want to make sure that, you know, it seems like it's just random, like in Sal's case. You think you're doing the right thing by responding back, oh, I'm sorry, I think this is a wrong number. I don't think this is who you intended to speak to. You think you're being helpful. But what's really happening is bots are sending out these messages, and they are just waiting for someone to reply back. Because once you reply back, that means it is a actual phone number, and then they will begin and engage in the scam. So what you want to do is you just want to not respond, and you want to swipe and delete.
And what are some of the other red flags that you heard while Sal retold his story?
Yeah, I think one of the big ones is trusting your gut. You know, if you have any doubt in mind of what is happening, you need to trust that. And I think sometimes we ignore it because we want that situation to be fruitful for us. And so we put it on the back burner. But really, take the time to acknowledge your feelings before you jump on something so that you don't fall victim. And the fact that they tell you not to tell anyone else, you know, that's a big one, especially with investment scams or just investing in general. There's high dollars that are at stake here. And so, you know, they don't want you to talk to someone else because that other person is probably going to see the red flags that maybe you've overlooked. And so they want to make sure, and they'll tell you stories of why you shouldn't tell a loved one or a close family member, but you really should try to confide in someone before making these kinds of decisions.
We're running out of time, but before we go, I wanted you to highlight some of the other interesting findings of this year's Scam Tracker Risk Report. What else are we seeing?
Yeah, absolutely. So, You know, for the second year in a row, people ages 18 to 24 reported the highest median dollar loss of any other age group at about $155. And that's very concerning with a younger age group. We're putting a lot of time and attention into education to try to reach those folks to give them great tips. And another interesting fact is that according to like our survey research, people who are between the ages of 18 and 44, they named anxiety and stress as the number one emotion that they feel after being targeted by a scam. In contrast to people ages 45 and up, they cited anger as the number one emotion that they felt. So it's interesting to see the different age groups and what emotion resonates best with them.
And what would you say, Sal? How were you left feeling when you realized this was a scam?
Yeah, I was devastated, because I'm a really frugal like person, like I watch like my spending all the time, and it was like a big portion of my savings just gone. So I was really devastated. Yeah, it was. And it kind of traumatized me a little bit now, like for the next few months, like I definitely don't want to fall into something like this again.
What advice would you give to someone to prevent them from falling victim to a scam like this?
Like kind of what we just went over, but yeah, definitely do your research before you put even if it's like a little amount of money, like do your research and talk to people that with experience first, which is something I wish I'd done. Even like family, or go to your bank, or try to talk to somebody that before you make any big investment. I would say like try to talk to like people and get some advice, because they try to get like the vulnerable people, like me in this case. Like they don't want you to seek advice, because they know that if you know a little bit about it, they'll know you see the red flags. So
well, Sal, the reason we learned of your story is you reported it to Scam Tracker, and that's a great educational tool. But Michelle, what are some other places that people should be reporting besides BBB Scam Tracker when they fall victim to a scam like this?
Yeah, so one of our partners is actually FINRA. So FINRA.org is a great tool. It stands for Financial Industry Regulatory Authority, and they are actually appointed by Congress, and they are dedicated to protecting investor protections. So it's a great tool to look at for brokers. Another one is IC3.gov, and that's the Internet Crime Complaint Center, where you want to go to report any cyber crimes. And in fact, in 2023, they received over 880,000 complaints that resonated in $12.5 billion in losses.
And that just goes to show you are definitely not alone, Sal. A lot of people being targeted and falling victim, unfortunately. Sal, again, thank you so much for going to BBB Scam Tracker and sharing your story today. And thank you, Michelle, for providing this insightful information. And thank you for joining us as well. You can go to bbb.org/scam tracker to report a scam or look up a scam as well. And coming up next month, wedding bells are in the air, and we're going to dive into planning the big event with 3 experts from the wedding industry. We hope you join us then.
Nick Augustino right here at the East Side Restaurant. We always have the complete full dinner menu. Knockwurst, bratwurst, sauerbraten, potato pancakes, red cabbage, rice pudding, cream pies, all the desserts that Germany had to offer. I always do something different. Yes, I do. I brought seafood to the beer garden at the East Side Restaurant. East Side Restaurant, your German destination restaurant in Connecticut. Tiki-taka, hoy, hoy, hoy!